I don't think I'm breaking any news here when I report that concerts and records have gotten really expensive. It's interesting to see the evolution that the music industry is going through as a physical format came back during COVID and as live music disappeared and it is now back in full force and we're all getting charged so much money to experience those things. I want to discuss why that is and where I think it heads on this episode of Talking About Records. My name is G.I. Sanders from NTX Vinyl, a small chain of independent record shops in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. If you're not local but you are in the US, you can shop online on our website, ntxvinyl.com, and would love it if you'd subscribe to our channel here on YouTube and follow us across social media at NTX Vinyl on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Let's talk about how expensive concerts and records are these days. It is a constant discussion just about everywhere that I exist online, whether it be on Facebook or YouTube or Instagram, it doesn't matter. When I talk with people I know online and in the physical world, a lot of what I talk about is music, as you can imagine. And so this is a topic that is swirling the cost of not only records, which I want to talk about because I own a record store, but also concerts, because I think there's a connection between those two. And I buy a lot of concert tickets, so I'm feeling it just as much as you are. It's crazy what is happening right now. And, there is an entire sidebar here when you get into concert tickets, because then you get into the monopoly of Ticketmaster and Live Nation. You get into the fees. You get into, is it the artist? Is it the promoter? Is it the big conglomerate companies that are forcing up these prices? And the answer to all of those is probably yes. And there's a ton that needs to be fixed there. I'm not disputing that, and I'm not here to necessarily talk about the ins and out of it. What's interesting is beyond all of that, beyond all of the bickering and the bitching and the confusion around why concert tickets cost so much, you know what's happening? All of the concerts are selling out. Now, not all of them. I'm generalizing. There's some shows that aren't and they have to discount tickets. But I'm saying there are a lot of concert tours by major artists, mid-level up to the top level, as far as let's say theater, large club type shows, to a couple thousand seaters up to arenas and stadiums, right? Like, those concert tickets are very expensive and they're flying off the shelves in a lot of scenarios. Now, I'm not saying everybody can afford them, but someone's affording them. And the reality is that they're not going to stop charging us hundreds of dollars per ticket until we stop paying it. Now, that is kind of the end game. If they price everybody out of the market, no one will fill the seats, and there will be performers performing to nobody. I don't think it gets to that point. But the reality is right now, if you want to go to an arena show, and just a normal arena show, pick any genre, pick any artist. If the artist is big enough to play in an arena, in a lot of cases, if you want to get in the building, it's $100 minimum per ticket, and that's usually the worst seat in the house. That's because of all the fees. That's because of what the artist is charging. That's the promoter's cut, all those things we talked about. So it's very interesting that there's all of this complaining about it, but yet they're still selling out. Like, that doesn't compute. Like, there's all this complaining. You'd think that the artists would be suffering and lowering their prices or doing less dates or not touring at all if no one's coming, but people are coming. I've been to many concerts in the last, let's say, 12 to 18 months post-COVID where they're packed, and I paid a lot to be there. There's a reason I paid a lot to be there, and this is kind of what I wanted to talk about. The reason that I paid a lot to go to concerts these days, well, thankfully I'm able to, first of all, knock on wood, to go to some of the shows I want to. But secondly is like, I value it so much. And that's the thing. It was taken away from us. Live music was taken away from us for, let's just say 2 years, but even beyond that, really, for a lot of people, 2 to 3 years of not going to see any live music. So when you lose something, what do? You inherently start valuing it more because you miss it. So now that concerts are back, and they're back in a big way because artists couldn't tour for 2 to 3 years. So there's huge pent up demand, not only from fans to see artists, but from artists who want to get back on stage to make a living again. So all of that demand and that buildup in a big way is what's filling the seats. Now, am I happy that I have to pay dynamic pricing BS for these tickets and $50 fees on top of a $150 ticket? No, it's absolutely ridiculous. I completely agree. But the reality is I'm paying it in some cases where I can afford it because I cherish it so much and it was gone for so long. I'm like, crap, what if it goes away again? Like, at the same time, we were stripped of our ability to attend a concert, to see a musician perform live, to experience that. And in that same time, so many people gravitated towards vinyl records. Now, I'm not saying vinyl records replicate the experience of a concert, but it certainly gets you closer, at least it does for me, than just streaming it. At least there's something I can hold. At least I can see it spinning. I'm looking over at my turntable. At least I own it. At least I can dive deeper while I hold it in my hands and read the lyrics and see who produced it and learn who wrote the songs and make the connections about who played on what. Like, that's at least a physical experience. And that's part of what I love about records. I've said this over and over. So no, it's not the same as going to see the band live, but it's a lot closer than it is just me scrolling through my phone and click and shuffle, which is what a lot of people do. And so that the combination of losing live music has really, in my eyes, impacted the resurgence of vinyl. But now we're back to normal. Now concerts are back. They're more expensive than ever. Vinyl has gone through several iterations of where prices have gone up and up. So now a new record is going to cost you $25 to $35 to $40 versus if you go back pre-COVID or even a little further than that, it was more like $20 to $30, you know? So prices have gone up. That's new records. Used records is the same deal. Demand is off the charts compared to where it was. And now used records that used to be in the dollar band are $5 to $10. Stuff that used to be $5 to $10 is now $20 to $30. You know, there's a value to that nostalgia. People who've started collecting, who found a whole new appreciation for music. And so that's kind of what I'm here to say. I think it sucks that we all have to pay more. I think it sucks that records cost what they do. I think it sucks that concert tickets cost what they do. But at least we're spending our money on something that matters. Like, I hate that it costs more to experience those things, but at least we're valuing the experience. Like, I feel like there is such a greater appreciation for it. And a lot of times your dollars back that up. You know, it's like, where are you going to spend your money? I know, you know, just like everyone else, I'm on a budget and I have to figure out, like, how important to me is this? And these days, going to see a live band or owning a record I really love because I want to experience, it's way more important than it was even just a few years ago. To me personally, I don't know how you feel. You'll have to let me know. And that part of this excites me. That's what's interesting, is I hate the fact that I have to pay more money, that everyone has to pay more money. But I was talking to a musician friend of mine, really good friend, and if he sees this, he'll know who he is. And he was telling me, and he just mostly plays locally, you know, around Texas, small clubs, venues, bars, things like that, you know, working musician. And he was telling me that the vibe he feels, even at those small shows these days, is totally different than what it was pre-COVID because of the appreciation. Not that the crowds are that much larger. It's not like now he's playing bars and they're packed versus before they weren't. But of the people who are there, the level of appreciation and engagement and respect for what he does is at an all-time high. And I heard that and I was like, I get it. I get it because I've gone to concerts where I used to go to concerts. I've been going to concerts my whole life, you know, since I was 14 years old, right? Then it all comes to an abrupt halt because of COVID. And just that 2.5 year period where I didn't go to any shows, my level of appreciation for live music, and thus my level of appreciation for music in general, which for me relates directly to records because that's my love and the way that I like to consume music, it's off the charts. I don't know how long that'll last. I don't know how long it'll be till the bubble bursts and people can't go to concerts at all anymore because it simply costs too much, or if the music industry will fix the damn issue with the dynamic pricing and how much consumers are getting screwed. I don't know. We all know that's a problem. It's not an elephant in the room. It's out in the wide open. Taylor Swift's and The Cure and everyone's trying to do stuff about it. You know, Pearl Jam tried it 25 years ago, didn't work. Here we are again. Now it's 100 times worse than it was. I don't know how to fix all those things. I'm not here to fix them. I'm just here to tell you that I like seeing that the appreciation level for live music and physical music is at an all-time high. That gets me excited, and that's regardless if I was in the business or not. That's just I'm just glad that people are willing to put their money towards that experience, because I think that in the end, if we can survive and navigate our way through this from a business perspective, as far as the ticketing industry and all that stuff, and the main vinyl manufacturing industry and all that, if we can survive and get through all of that, hopefully some of that appreciation will stick around and linger and maintain, regardless if the prices ever do come down, which who knows if they will. But that's exciting to me, and it's a topic that, again, I've talked a lot about with a lot of friends and customers of NTX Vinyl over the last couple of months, is that appreciation for records that wasn't there before. And I think it's the same thing to be said for a concert experience. So would love to hear your feedback. Maybe I'm in a bubble. Maybe this is just me and no one else feels the same thing. Let me know what you think. I appreciate you listening as always. My name is G.I. Sanders from NTX Vinyl, and this has been yet another episode of Talking About Records.